Okay, in this video I'm going to show you how to do how to build the sloping walls for a sloping roof. The sample that I drew here is called a gable roof, so that's just a peak with two surfaces. So the roof is made up of two surfaces and a peak. What we're going to do is we're going to build the walls for a shed roof. Okay, it's called a shed roof. It's just a sloping roof. It's a single surface, and you're going to see that in a second here. Okay, let me just get rid of a couple of lines here, and okay, so I've started it over here, and what I've drawn here is first of all, I've drawn a base, okay, a rectangular base for my building, and then I drew the bottom plate, and the bottom plate is grouped, so I know that it's grouped because when I click on it, like that, the whole thing highlights. And then with the studs, I just drew, what I did is I drew the studs oversized. So these are taller than they have to be because we're going to cut them in place. And what's going to help you is if you don't group them. So see how when I click on this, okay, it only lights up on certain surfaces wherever my cursor is. Same with this one. These are not grouped, okay? They are not grouped. So if I try to move them right now, it's like, it's like wonky, right? So don't group them. And all you have to do to draw them is just draw the first one, and then to copy it over, all you do is to copy it without grouping it. You just triple click 1, 2, 3, and then you take the move tool, okay, and you're grabbing it wherever it is, and you hit the option key, and that moves it. And it's okay if it's not grouped; it stays together, okay. But don't group them yet because you're going to be cutting them. So let me get rid of this. And now what you're going to do is you're going to decide how high these studs are going to be, how high to the top point, how high to the bottom. Okay, so here's how I do that. I'm just going to take my line tool. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to make a decision about where that starts and stops, and click it like that. So there I have a line. Now what I'm going to do is take the eraser. Okay, with the eraser tool, I'm going to actually, let me see what happens when I push this through. Yeah, so you can push all these through. So see this? So I push the first one through, and then with the second one, watch this. You just have to double click like that. Double click, double click, double click. Okay, and it does the same thing. So see what's happening here, right? And so I'll work my way down the line here, just getting rid of those, and almost there. Okay, now we have that line in there, so let's get rid of that. Actually, we can leave that line. No, we can't leave that line. Okay, let's get rid of that line. So I'm going to take the eraser tool and just run down here, getting rid of all those. Okay, like that. Okay, there we go. And now, okay, now we need a top plate on there. So these studs need to be grouped. Okay, so you're going to run down the line. You're going to make groups out of these studs. And okay, so I ran along and I made groups out of all these studs. So now they're protected. And so now I can take my line tool and come in here and I can start drawing this top plate. There we go, and I can pull that through to the other side. And I'm going to, and so with that drawn, I'm going to group that. All right, so that takes care of the top plate. And let me just get rid of some guides here. That gets rid of the top plate, and then of course you can take that whole thing, okay, and hold the shift key down while you select things. So I'm going to select all these studs. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to move it over to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to grab it right here, and I'm going to hit option, and just move it to the other side. And you can make your you can make your alterations. You can move some of these studs around to create your openings and that kind of thing, which I'll demonstrate in a different video about the headers and stuff. Okay, now for the end wall. So the end walls just kind of come across, and so I'm gonna choose my rectangle, or sorry, my tape measure, and I'm gonna come in here and come in 3.5. Okay, for the width of a 2x4. Let me try that again. 3.5. And then I will create a rectangle here, and this will serve as the bottom plate for the wall. Come over here like that, lift it up. So I'm going to raise that up to there, and I'm going to make that a group. 1, 2, 3, make it a group. Okay, and now we're going to put some end studs in. So the end studs are going to come up to, let's have a look here. Okay, so let me grab this, and we're going to come up here from this point here. We're going to move in 3.5, 3.5 inches. Let's try that again. We're going to move in like that, 3.5. Okay. And we're going to, so we're now going to draw the shape of, so the shape of the end stud in this wall. Okay, so that 3.5 that I just drew, that should line up with this, okay, which it does. And now we're going to take the pencil tool. Okay, you could even take, let's see, yeah, we'll take the pencil tool. Okay, so I'm going to start drawing. Make sure that you get a line when you start to draw. So I draw there, and then I'm going to go up to the top. And, whoops, go where this intersects there, and then draw a line over this way, okay, to the outside here, and back down to the bottom. Back down to there. Okay, and then I'm going to pull that out. So I'm going to pull that stud out 1.5 inches, 1.5. Enter, and that is, so that is now a typical stud in that wall. Okay, so that basically, we're going to slope these plates here. So that is basically the stud in the wall. So I'm going to make that I can go ahead and make that a group, because we're not going to cut them like we did the other one. This is kind of set, and then I'm going to start moving it. So I'm going to copy it down to the other end of the wall. Okay, copy it down here, like so. Okay, so we have our two end studs, and then our top plate. Okay, so you notice we have an end stud here, and we have an end stud here now. And now I can worry about the top plate. So let's go have a look at this. Okay, with this top plate, I'm going to draw it in. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to draw a line up, over, down, and across. Now this is not a rectangle. Okay, this is like a trapezoid or something like that. So that's why I'm using the line tool instead of the rectangle tool. But you know, this comes over here, lines up with there, and now we have the top plate. So don't just, in this case, don't take the bottom plate and transfer it to the top, because the top is on an angle. And I'm going to make that a group. Okay, there we go. So that is your front wall now. And I could go ahead and, you know, I could start filling this in. I'll take the move tool, wherever the move tool went to. There we go. Move tool, come on. Right there. I could take the move tool, and I could start moving things over, right? I could take this, and I could move it over 15.25, which is for the first stud, and then after that it's 16 inches. So 16 inches there, and times, multiply by, I don't know, I'm going to put 7 just for argument's sake. And Now I've got a bunch of studs there with a spare, right? A couple spares. And those spares are okay. I'll use them as king studs in the door openings. Okay, but basically, there's your wall. Now, as for door openings and that kind of thing, that's a different video. So you would have to worry about that here, especially in this wall. You might have a door plus a window, in which case you would build those first and then fill in the other studs after. Okay, so I hope that gets you going, and good luck.